Hello, everyone. Last week, or maybe even before that now, time flies when we're having fun. Um, Hemingway Jones did a interview with me, and I'm just looking over comments that people left for him and responding to some more that I missed. One was he saw Johnny said he saw an old Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes movie, Hound of the Baskervilles, and watching Watson, Nigel Bruce, writing the letter to Holmes. It was very cool to see a pen doing the real work rather than using a pen is more interesting, I guess, to him than collecting them just to collect them, which has always been my point of view. If suddenly ink were outlawed and no one could fill your pens, I would sell every single one of my pens within a minute before the news spread. And I know that many collectors would care less whether the pen has ink in it or not. They just want to have this example of this exact pen to fill their collection. There have been many movies, and Hemingway Jones replied to that, saying that maybe he'll do a movie of a show about pens and movies, and they do show up quite often. I always pay attention when anyone ever has a pen in their pocket. I try to zoom in and stop the video to watch it, and it is fun seeing them. And rarely are they an important part of the movie, though I think there was one instance where I believe Barbara Stanwyck, who is the star of the show, is in a train wreck, and the rich person on the train who has a fountain pen in a box with her name engraved on it or something ends up dying, and what's her name? Barbara Stanwyck takes the pen and her identity and becomes the socialite until she's found out at the end. Hey, Kim. Kim is here talking from Denmark. Kim. Let's see what other people have said. I love Pierre. He's fun and delightful and so gifted. Well, thank you, whoever you were that said that. Vintage writing, local pen show. I think many of these we've already seen. I should probably go to the IMPETH. I had planned to go there once to this conference of worldwide or national anyway, conference of professional calligraphy, and I was set to do it. I bought tickets and everything for the show, but I think my father died, or I had to go help with my father, and I had to cancel. I forget what it was. Someone learned about, okay, great interview, great topic, great episode. Someone scolds both Hemingway and I for not watching the movie that I did the calligraphy for. Yes. you can scold me for that. Anyway, so that's it. So what other chat do I have for any of you? I'm supposed to be sending out pens in the mail today, parts for a man that lives in Finland, and I was attempting to send those parts to him months ago, but the cost of sending these two little pieces, two little feeds. Where's a feed to show you what I'm talking about? Well, it's the smallest part of a fountain pen is the feed. Here's a feed right here. And except it was half this size. And I put it in an envelope with enough paper around it so it didn't seem like it was a package. But it was a little tiny bit fatter. And I had to fill out custom forms, and it couldn't be sent as a letter. It had to be sent as a package. And the cost of adding all of that to the price I was charging for the feeds, in fact, I was going to give the feeds to him for free, but I just felt funny about spending all this money. But he's now back in the United States and will be in California, or he's in California now, and he's having dinner with another pen client of mine, customer of mine, friend of mine, so I'm going to send him the package today. He'll get it by the time he meets my friend from Finland, and that'll keep the costs to the Finnish guy to be zero, and the cost to me will be, I don't know, depends on how I send it. If I put it in the mail just as an envelope, it may not get there, so I'll have to send it overnight just to make sure it gets there. So it'll cost me something. But I'm going to also send to the guy who lives in California some pens for him to perhaps buy from me. So I will get reimbursed, I'm sure, through that process. But I'm trying to figure out what pens to send him. He's commented a number of times on videos he's watched saying, I want a pen like the one that you had in this video or that video, and I'll find that pen. Why is this not working? Did this clog up? Must have clogged. So I'll put it in the water here and hopefully soak it out so it works. Very strange. So let me see what other pens will I send this guy. This is a sweet little pen. It smells funny though. There are occasionally you'll find a pen that has plastic, and Waterman made them, Eversharp made them. Whatever the plastic was during that year or those few years where the plastic is a little bit less brittle, maybe, than the earlier plastics, but they have this funny smell. Whatever it is they're oozing out of their system is obnoxious. So there's that. I'm meeting another fellow artist tonight at dinner where we drink lots of beer. And I'm thinking maybe I'll bring him, before I go to Minneapolis, I'll probably give him let him borrow 5 or 6 pens of mine that have nibs that are different from what he's used to, where he can play with them over the summer when I'm away. And then when I come back, he may decide he wants to buy 1 or 2, but it could also mean that he doesn't want to buy any of them. That's always fine. I certainly don't want anyone to buy a pen they're not going to use. He also loves making his own pen nibs, and he takes his pliers and his burnisher and his super glue or whatever he uses to twist and bend modern fountain pen nibs so that they do a certain kind of line, usually the architect grind or the Fude nib kind of stuff, which I don't do myself. I don't really like those pens very much. Hey, Todd Merrill. Are disintegrating. Yeah, the burp pen, the Eversharp burp pen, the Ventura, that they all smell. All of them smell. And I don't really think that they might be deteriorating over time. The half-life of a Ventura pen plastic might be, 100 years or something before it starts crumbling on you, but it's really, really bad. Do you want to come on live, Todd, to chat briefly? I love this pen. Yes, it has this big warp. It's warped. But it's so cute. Stubby little bulldog of a Taperite. That's really quite fun. So, Todd, did you want to? Oh, you're on your way to work. Okay, well, can you type? Are you driving an automobile, or are you in an Uber, or being in a Duesenberg being chauffeured by your chauffeur or chauffeurs, depending on the sex of the gender? Gender or sex. See, gender is one of those sociological terms, not really biological. You're in a moving vehicle. Okay, good. Anyway, I do have some pens to send out to Cesar, Dr. Cesar, and in that will go some pens going to Trister Blue, who's back in California, to cause trouble. No, he doesn't cause trouble. He's a very sweet man, very talented artist. So there are some pens, some of these Taperite pens, and this is one of them. It has an actual sharpish angle to it. You can feel this ridge, where this one doesn't have that ridge. I think that was maybe designed to help you know which end is up. Have you noticed that in Taperites, or haven't you paid attention to them? You can see it maybe in the light here. You can see that there seems to be sort of this sharper point. And it's sort of neat because you can, without looking at the pen, you can tell which way is up. Kind of wish, well, the Parker 51 could have used such a thing. The Parker 61 did the same thing with their little arrow, their little inlaid arrow that always falls out. Doesn't always fall out, often falls out. But see, this one doesn't. Does this have that ridge. It does. This one does have that ridge. There's some that don't feel like they have that ridge. So Todd Merrill, I'll ask you, since you like old movies, what movies do you know that feature a scene that has a fountain pen in it? There's one that I know. I think it's either Going My Way or the other one, the Bells of St. Mary's, or whatever it is, the one that has Bing Crosby. Well, he's in both of them, but he plays a priest in both of them. But there's one where he has the reason to have someone sign a document, whether it's a contract for a song they're going to sing or whether it's a check to buy a new church or whatever it is. But what he does is he takes the pen out of his pocket, he uncaps the pen, and he hands the pen but holds the cap in his hand. And that used to be one of the things you would do when you would loan someone your pen, so that they, in the excitement of signing the contract or writing the check or doing whatever is being done with the pen, that the borrower doesn't end up taking the pen from you, because they can't put this in their pocket without the cap. So Bing, Father O'Malley, or whatever his name was, he kept the cap in his pen in his hand. Another movie that has a fountain pen in it, the movie Hindenburg. And one of the early scenes in that movie is a woman. You learn later it's a woman, but it's a person writing a letter saying, "The Hindenburg will explode." And it's a clairvoyant that's sending this letter to the FBI or whoever, the police department, whatever was around in 1937. And she's using, you can see the Schaefer flat top and the white dot bouncing around as she's dotting her I's and crossing her T's. And I thought that was kind of neat. There are a lot of songs from the 20s and 30s that have the word fountain pen in it. And I should make a list. I don't know any of them offhand, but there are many that have the word fountain pen in them. And I think that would be a fun playlist to create. I'll have to put that on my list. Maybe I can ask my friend Peter Minton. I don't know whether you know Todd Peter Minton. Well, it is a Schaefer Lifetime. Yes, it is. And the pen at that time had to have been, because it's a flat top, how many years what was the youngest age of that pen, Todd Merrill? You can do the math. Hindenburg blew up in 1937. So the youngest that pen could have been was, hey, Friedrich. Peter Minton is a, yes, 1928. So Peter Minton, I'm going to play a little YouTube video from him. He's a band leader and singer and piano player, and he knows all the songs we know, And I met him once at in New York City, and he's I knew of him beforehand, and my friend that knew both of us was going to introduce us. So we went to this guy's house and for drinks and appetizers, and then went out for dinner. And all around his house were fountain pens. And I said, "Did Peter tell you that? Did Paul tell you that I like fountain pens?" And he said, "Well, yes, he did. So I have my fountain pens out for you to see." Well, did he also say that I like Noel Coward? Because on Peter Minton's piano there was an autographed thing of Noel Coward. He collects music, sheet music, piano rolls. Let me just find a Peter Minton thing. "57 videos." So he'll sit at the piano and he'll introduce the song, and then he'll play the song. Here we go. So here's "Orchids in the Moonlight." At the piano, Peter Minton. And he sometimes sings along with the songs he plays. He doesn't with that one. It's a lovely song. He also had lots of sheet music with singers' names on them, autographed to him. And he sent something from Top Hat to both Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and Fred returned the sheet music with his name, to Peter from Fred. But he said, "Ginger Rogers didn't sign it, that bitch. She also didn't return my sheet music." So anyway, Todd, I think you'd really like the way he plays the piano. And he also used to have an orchestra in California. Another fountain pen you see in the movie Lifeboat by Hitchcock. You see the rich guy, Rittenhouse is his name. You see him, they're playing cards with homemade cards he drew with his pen, presumably. And you see what appears to be a solid gold Eversharp Skyline pen and pencil set clipped to his suspenders. Now, Todd, I'll send you a link to his stuff. He also had beautiful drawings by Leyendecker, Montgomery Flagg, James Montgomery Flagg, and evidently there was some publishing company in New York that was going out of business, and they were selling original art that was used for the illustrations in the magazines. So he was able to buy these things for not very much money, and it's just a wonderful treasure trove to see. And he also had a framed letter from Shirley Temple's mother to the producers of some show saying, "My daughter is too young to sing the lyrics as you have them. You have to change the lyrics, and evidently George Gershwin or whoever it was changed the lyrics so that they weren't as adult. So, yeah, the Leyendecker that he has is unfortunately a portrait of a dame. Now, beautiful dame nonetheless, but that's not where his heart was. You see the drawings of his boyfriend appear drawn with more love, I think, than with a drawing of some random dame. The thing about the flag image, maybe I can see if I can find those pictures. I took pictures of it in his house with his permission. There was the flag drawing was maybe 3 feet tall, and it would show this man seated on a park bench with his girlfriend or wife, beau, fiancée, whatever, and it showed this line going maybe almost 2 feet long, going from the collar down to the coat, or maybe it was down the trousers, the line of the trousers from the waist to the knee down to the cuff. And it was one line, which is fine. I can make that line too. Then he drew like 6 more perfectly parallel to the same line. So it's like his hand had the memory to make those lines. So it's really, yes, the arrow collar man. So anyway, it was really, really neat seeing those original drawings. He also played a duet at his house. He sat at one grand piano, and the other one was nestled at it with the keys facing out. You know, keys were in opposite directions, but the pianos were having a little 69ing going on. And he put a piano roll in one, turned it on, turned the crank on, and it was playing. And then he played an accompaniment to it, which was really, really nice to have to see. And anyway, he's a really sweet guy. Todd, remember when I couldn't remember the name of some song when we met in Philly? I think actually it was when we met in LA. There was a song that I couldn't remember the name of. And I said, well, let me find out from Peter what it is. So I sent him an email, and he immediately came back with whatever the song was. And of course, I can't remember now what it was, but it was a song you hadn't remembered or hadn't heard. Okay, bye. So Friedrich, would you like to join me live? With or without your pants? For those of you that are new to this thing, since we have the camera aimed down at our desks or occasionally up at our faces, we often confess that we're not wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants. I have my delicate underthings on, my lace panties. No, I don't have lace. I a perfectly lovely pair of boxer briefs, and I'm wearing those because I haven't needed to put on my pants yet. I'm wearing a shirt. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, Friedrich. Anyway, Friedrich, if you can make a list in your mind or on a piece of paper of movies that feature a fountain pen in some fun way. You've got obviously the Three Stooges. There's always there's not always, but there's often a fountain pen explosion. Usually Moe is the one covered in ink. Or there's a great movie where W.C. Fields shows up at a hotel to register. And he tries to write his name, and the pen doesn't work, so he just throws it like a dart, and it gets stuck in the desk or the book, and that's kind of fun. Have you made your own cork for a piston pen? I have not. Now maybe Friedrich has. Oh, okay. Octopussy, we can have that. Friedrich said the Bond film Octopussy has a fountain pen that will melt, that contains acid. There are fountain pens that appear in some detective series where the pen contains poison rather than ink. They do appear quite often, and I think fountain pens were a perfectly lovely when you could actually fill a pen with a lever. I think that suddenly opened up the world of weaponry for mystery thrillers. Let's see, is this unclogged yet? Why is this clogged? Why is this clogged? How could this get clogged? It's a 51 special or something. One of those 21 deluxes. I think it's a 21 deluxe. How could this get clogged? How is that even possible? Well, it's writing anyway. I'll just soak it in water. Keep soaking in water. Come on. My depth perception has gone out the window. I've got two eyeballs in my head, and one of them is all screwed up. It sees things crooked. So it's like looking through a pair of binoculars where the prisms are all off. So I tend to, even though the eye is open, I tend not to rely on it at all. My brain has already sort of turned it off. And so when I try to put a cap on the pen, I'm sort of only looking at it with one eye, and I quite often miss the mark. And I can have this thing fixed, but this is what they do. The surgeon gets out his, do I have anything that even looks like a scalpel here? No. Do I have even a scissors here? Yes, I have a scissors. Pretend this is a scalpel. So here's my eyeball veins. Evidently, he goes into my eyeball with a scalpel to scrape away the scar tissue that somehow got formed on the back of my retina. So you can see why I'm a little bit hesitant about having that operation done. But it takes me twice as long to type a letter on my iPhone because I can't see I see double. I'm looking at the keyboard and I'm trying to find where the E is, and I'm hitting the R. Okay, did this make a little drop? Trying to think of other movies that have fountain pens. I don't know how that happened, and I wasn't. It's not like you. I ran into a pointed stick or anything. It was. I wonder if I looked into a bright light or something and damaged it that way. Oh my God. Is that what they did? Is that what they're going to do to me? Yank it out of my head? Yeah, I don't know whether. I know that when my father got shots in his eyeball for macular degeneration, he was not anesthetized or asleep. They just stick it right in your eyeball. Oh dear. See, I don't think I ever had that happen. So that the metal flake went right into your eyeball, did it? I thought your eyeball has a lens. That would cause it to bounce off. Should learn how the eyeball works. Don't go away. I might have a book that will explain it to me. Okay. Translate this for us, will you, Friedrich? No, it's not that. I think these are diseases. No, this looks like diseases. This isn't what whatever that picture was is supposed to look like. I don't have any idea what part of the body this is supposed to be. I'm afraid it's what I think it is. Oh, here's just regular. Some sort of. Oh, what do we have here? Muscle schwint. Muscle spasms, muscle atrophy. Okay, so it's not in that one. Oh, Venus de Medici. Oh, that's a dirty bit right there. Don't look at that, people. Those are dirty bits. Oh, syphilis. Syphilistischur. Eiter Blasinger. Uh-oh. Syphilistischer Rotelausschlag. Schlag. Okay, that's not in this book. There's two more in this set that will have the thing I want to look at. Oh, that was a really dirty bit. Here's Der Mannliche Korpus. There's our handsome young man. Here's our handsome young man. Or is he a tree? I hate when they do that. So then you open this up and you see all of the parts inside. Same on the side. Move his head back down. But look at this. You go even further in. Yeah, late 1800s, and then you've got the bladder, and you've got the bladder and the intestines and the lungs. My desk isn't big enough. And then the heart opens up. Aren't these great? Oh, I have to put his intestines back. His kidneys fell off. Oh well. But they have the weibliche. No, that's the page I want. Where's the weibliche version? Oh my God. We don't want to look at these pictures at all. There's the eye. We'll talk about that in a minute. Where did the weibliche go? Uh-oh. Pay no attention to that picture. That'll give me nightmares. Come on, weibliche. Is she in the other book? Let's keep them separate. Let's find the year. This is 1907. 1911 is when this book was done. Okay, where's the weibliche? Don't tell me I may have her removed from here, from the book. Why would I have done that? Why would I have taken her out? What was neat about her thing is she was heavy with child, and you opened her up and you moved this and moved that, and suddenly her child fell out of her. It's still the man. What happened to the... Well, I hope I haven't lost her in the scheme of things. She has to remain here somewhere. Okay, I was going to show you the eyeball. Where did that one go? Why can't I find things when I want to? viewers as soon as the, oh, here's the weibliche. So here's the wifelet. No, not wifelet, the wife, right? Weiblichen Korpus. So has her boob fell off, her boob flap. But this one opens up, and she's already falling apart. But here's the part I wanted to show you. Here's her womb. So this opens up, and you see the little Kindling, little boy child. Yep, that's a boy. So let's go back to trying to find this eyeball. What book was that in? How many? There's only 4 books. How come it takes me? Why do I have to look at them 8 times to get the one I want? Uh-oh, that's that dirty bit again. Here we go. Somewhere here, there's the eyeball. It's right here. The heart, the lungs, the brain, dem Herz, whatever this is. Oh, the mouth, the nasal passage. Here's the eye. Okay, so here's our eyeball. Back. Hello. Did it all go well? Hold on. Bye. Hi.